Far beyond Earth's solar system, hidden within a massive hollowed asteroid, the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with tension. Representatives from 17 advanced civilizations sat in a circular arrangement. Some appeared almost human, while others were so different they would terrify most Earth people. High Ambassador Valoria of the Arcturian Confederation stood at the center. Her skin had a soft blue glow, similar to the beings Jake had seen on the moon. 7 feet tall and graceful, she raised her 6-fingered hand for silence. "This emergency session will now begin," she said. Her voice was musical but firm. "Our agenda is simple but troubling. Humanity has advanced too quickly." Screens appeared around the chamber, showing Earth, its space stations, and its early colony on Mars. Their discovery of faster-than-light travel principles was not expected for at least 50 more Earth years, Valoria continued. Yet their scientists are merely a decade away from a working prototype. Admiral Zorax of the Rigelian Empire slammed his fist on the table. Unlike the elegant Arcturians, Rigelians were built like warriors, with thick gray skin and ridge-lined faces. "We should implement containment protocols immediately," he growled. "Humanity is dangerous. They fight wars over everything. They would bring chaos to galactic peace." Soft murmurs filled the chamber. A small round being with large eyes floated forward. This was Ambassador Lin of the Centauri delegation. "My friends, hasty action is unwise," Lin said. "Humans show great promise. Yes, they are violent, but they also create beautiful art and music. Their capacity for love and sacrifice matches any species we know." "Pretty words," Zorax snorted, "but facts remain. No species in Council history has advanced from basic flight to near FTL travel in just over a century. It's unnatural." Valoria nodded slowly. "This is true. We must consider all possibilities. Has humanity been helped by outside influence? Have our observation protocols been breached?" An older Arcturian named Elder Moshe spoke next. "Our monitoring station on their moon reports unusual activity. A human may have witnessed our research team during a standard collection mission." This news caused an uproar. Council rules strictly prohibited visible contact with developing worlds. "This is unacceptable," shouted the representative from Proxima Coalition, a thin being with metallic skin. "If they know of us, we must act now before they can prepare any defenses." Valoria called for order. "We will investigate this breach. Meanwhile, we should vote on our response to humanity's advancement." Back on Earth, in a secure underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, General William Carter studied the partially decoded alien transmission that Commander Ellis had sent him. Behind him stood Lieutenant Heather Mason and Dr. Alan Wright, who had been flown to the facility under strict secrecy. "You're certain this is genuine?" Carter asked, his weathered face serious. "Yes, sir," Heather answered. "The encryption is unlike anything in our systems." Carter nodded and pressed a button on his desk. A wall slid open, revealing a large room filled with people working at advanced computer stations. At the center stood a strange piece of metal that seemed to absorb light around it. 3 years ago, we found this in the Arctic," Carter explained. "It's a piece of technology, not from Earth. We've been studying it since then, and what we've learned has helped us advance our own technology significantly." Alan gasped. "Is that why we've made such rapid progress in quantum physics?" "Exactly," Carter said. "And now, thanks to your decoded message, we know someone out there is watching us, and they're concerned about our progress." He turned to face them fully. "I'm forming a special team called the Stargazer Initiative. We need to learn more about these watchers and prepare for whatever they might do next. I want you both on this team." "What about Commander Ellis?" Heather asked. Carter's expression darkened. "Ellis has been transferred. This goes beyond normal military channels. The President has given me full authority." "So what do we do now?" Alan asked. "Now," Carter said, "we find out who's meeting on the moon. And we make sure humanity isn't caught unprepared when the Galactic Council makes its move. Jake Simmons floated along the outer hull of the lunar observatory, his magnetic boots clicking softly with each careful step. The Earth hung in the black sky above him, a beautiful blue marble that never failed to take his breath away. Just another repair job, he muttered to himself, adjusting his toolkit. The external communication array had been acting up again, dropping signals between the moon and Earth. As the maintenance technician for the base, it fell to Jake to fix it. He should have checked in with base operations before starting the repairs, but Linda, his supervisor, was in one of her moods today. Better to fix the problem first and report later. The comm array was located on the far side of the facility, offering a clear view of the lunar landscape stretching toward the horizon. Jake had just begun removing the access panel when a flicker of movement caught his eye. At first, he thought it was just sunlight reflecting off dust. Then he saw it clearly, a ship unlike any he had ever seen, gliding silently toward an abandoned mining outpost about 2 miles from the observatory. Jake froze. The vessel was sleek, with no visible engines or exhaust. It seemed to bend the starlight around it, making it hard to focus on. Definitely not one of theirs. Forgetting the repair job, Jake fumbled for the camera he used to document maintenance work. His hand shook as he zoomed in on the distant outpost. The ship was docking now, settling into the crater beside the abandoned facility. A section of the smooth hull slid open, and Jake nearly dropped the camera when he saw what emerged. They were tall, at least 7 feet, with slender bodies that moved with impossible grace in the low gravity. Their skin shimmered with a faint bluish glow. Jake counted 5 of them as they glided from their craft toward the mining outpost. "Holy hell," he whispered. He captured everything on the camera, hardly believing what he was seeing. Suddenly, his radio crackled. "Simmons, where are you? You didn't check in for your EVA." Linda's annoyed voice made him jump. Sorry," Jake replied, his voice shaking. "I'm at the comm array." "But Linda, you need to see this. There's a ship at the old mining outpost. Not one of ours. And people. Not like us." A long pause followed. "Jake, how long have you been outside?" "What? About 40 minutes. Why?" "You know extended EVAs can cause hallucinations. The radiation." "I'm not hallucinating," Jake snapped. "I'm recording it right now. Look toward the Kepler mining site." "There's nothing on our sensors," Linda said, her voice softer now. "Come back inside, Jake. We'll talk about what you think you saw." Jake looked back at the outpost. The strange beings were gone, but the ship remained. "The ship is still there. I can prove it. Just come inside. Now." "That's an order." Jake reluctantly began making his way back, checking over his shoulder every few steps. The ship remained, a dark silhouette against the gray lunar surface. Back inside, after decontamination, Jake found Linda waiting with Dr. Myers, the base physician. "I'm not crazy," Jake said before either could speak. He thrust his camera toward them. "It's all here." Linda took the camera but didn't look at it immediately. "Jake, I think you should let Dr. Myers check you out." "Look at the footage first," Jake insisted. Linda sighed but turned on the camera display. Her expression remained neutral as she scrolled through the images. "There's nothing here but the mining outpost." "What?" Jake grabbed the camera. "The outpost was there, but no ship, no visitors. That's impossible. I saw them. I recorded them." "You need rest," Dr. Myers said gently. "Space fatigue affects even the best of us." Jake stared at them in disbelief. Later that night, alone in his quarters, he reviewed the footage again. Still nothing. Had he imagined it all? Across the base, Linda entered her private quarters and locked the door. She pulled out a secure phone that few knew she possessed. "Richard, it's me," she said quietly. "Something happened today that you need to know about. One of my techs saw something at the Kepler site." She paused, listening. "No, there's nothing on his camera. I made sure of that. But from his description, another pause. Yes, exactly like the reports from Ganymede last month. She lowered her voice further. The Department of Defense needs to know. They're here, far beyond Earth's solar system, hidden within a massive hollowed asteroid. The grand chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with tension. Representatives from 17 advanced civilizations sat in a circular arrangement. Some appeared almost human, while others were so different they would terrify most Earth people. High Ambassador Valoria of the Arcturian Confederation stood at the center. Her skin had a soft blue glow, similar to the beings Jake had seen on the moon. 7 feet tall and graceful, she raised her 6-fingered hand for silence. "This emergency session will now begin," she said. Her voice was musical but firm. "Our agenda is simple but troubling. Humanity has advanced too quickly." Screens appeared around the chamber, showing Earth, its space stations, and its early colony on Mars. Their discovery of faster-than-light travel principles was not expected for at least 50 more Earth years, Valoria continued. Yet their scientists are merely a decade away from a working prototype. Admiral Zorax of the Rigelian Empire slammed his fist on the table. Unlike the elegant Arcturians, Rigelians were built like warriors, with thick gray skin and ridge-lined faces. "We should implement containment protocols immediately," he growled. "Humanity is dangerous. They fight wars over everything. They would bring chaos to galactic peace." Soft murmurs filled the chamber. A small, round being with large eyes floated forward. This was Ambassador Lin of the Centauri delegation. "My friends, hasty action is unwise," Lin said. "Humans show great promise. Yes, they are violent, but they also create beautiful art and music. Their capacity for love and sacrifice matches any species we know." "Pretty words," Zorax snorted, "but facts remain. No species in Council history has advanced from basic flight to near FTL travel in just over a century. It's unnatural." Valoria nodded slowly. "This is true. We must consider all possibilities. Has humanity been helped by outside influence? Have our observation protocols been breached?" An older Arcturian named Elder Moshe spoke next. "Our monitoring station on their moon reports unusual activity. A human may have witnessed our research team during a standard collection mission." This news caused an uproar. Council rules strictly prohibited visible contact with developing worlds. "This is unacceptable," shouted the representative from Proxima Coalition, a thin being with metallic skin. "If they know of us, we must act now before they can prepare any defenses." Valoria called for order. "We will investigate this breach. Meanwhile, we should vote on our response to humanity's advancement." Back on Earth, in a secure underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, General William Carter studied the partially decoded alien transmission that Commander Ellis had sent him. Behind him stood Lieutenant Heather Mason and Dr. Alan Wright, who had been flown to the facility under strict secrecy. "You're certain this is genuine?" Carter asked, his weathered face serious. "Yes, sir," Heather answered. "The encryption is unlike anything in our systems." Carter nodded and pressed a button on his desk. A wall slid open, revealing a large room filled with people working at advanced computer stations. At the center stood a strange piece of metal that seemed to absorb light around it. 3 years ago, we found this in the Arctic," Carter explained. "It's a piece of technology not from Earth. We've been studying it since then, and what we've learned has helped us advance our own technology significantly." Alan gasped. "Is that why we've made such rapid progress in quantum physics?" "Exactly," Carter said. "And now, thanks to your decoded message, we know someone out there is watching us, and they're concerned about our progress." He turned to face them fully. "I'm forming a special team called the Stargazer Initiative. We need to learn more about these watchers and prepare for whatever they might do next. I want you both on this team." "What about Commander Ellis?" Heather asked. Carter's expression darkened. "Ellis has been transferred. This goes beyond normal military channels. The President has given me full authority." "So what do we do now?" Alan asked. "Now," Carter said, "we find out who's meeting on the moon. And we make sure humanity isn't caught unprepared when the Galactic Council makes its move." Dr. Karen Daniels had never expected to be on a shuttle to the moon. 1 week ago, she was just another astrophysicist at NASA, studying radiation patterns from distant stars. Then, General Carter's people had shown up at her lab with classified orders. Now she sat beside Major John Russell, a Special Forces soldier with more muscles than seemed necessary in the tight quarters of the shuttle. He hadn't said much during their journey, just checked his equipment and reviewed mission files. "Still don't understand why they picked me," Karen said, breaking the silence. John glanced up. "Your work on unusual radiation patterns made you the perfect candidate. We need someone who can recognize things that don't belong." The shuttle docked at Lunar Observatory with a gentle bump. Karen felt the strange likeness as they entered the moon's gravity. John moved with surprising grace, clearly having trained for low-gravity environments. Linda Powell met them at the airlock. "Welcome to the moon," she said with a tight smile. "I understand you're here to upgrade our sensors." This was their cover story. Karen nodded. "Yes, new equipment to better track deep space objects. And you need access to the old mining outpost for this?" Linda asked, looking skeptical. John stepped forward. "The outpost offers an ideal position for some of our equipment. Less interference from the observatory systems." Linda's eyes narrowed slightly, but she nodded. "I'll arrange transport for tomorrow morning. The outpost is about 2 miles from here." Later, in their assigned quarters, John checked for listening devices before speaking. "Your brother's report was correct," Linda had whispered to him when Karen wasn't looking. "Something is happening at that outpost." The next morning, they took a small lunar rover to the abandoned mining site. The facility had been shut down years ago when it stopped being profitable. "Your tech saw the visitors here?" Karen asked Linda, who had insisted on driving them. Linda kept her eyes on the path ahead. "Jake thinks he saw something. Could have been space fatigue." "But you don't think so," John said. It wasn't a question. Linda didn't answer, just pointed ahead. "There's the main entrance." The outpost was built partly underground to shield workers from radiation. They suited up and entered through the airlock. Inside, everything was covered in a fine layer of moon dust. Their footprints marked the first human presence in years. "Looks untouched," Linda observed. John pulled out a device from his pack. "Dr. Daniels, check for those radiation signatures we discussed." Karen took out her own equipment and began scanning. Almost immediately, her device beeped. "That's odd. I'm picking up traces of something that doesn't match any known element." She moved deeper into the facility, following the readings. The signals led them to a back room that had once been a storage area. The dust here was disturbed, with strange markings on the floor. "Someone's been here recently," John said, kneeling to examine the marks. "These aren't human boot prints." Karen's scanner beeped faster as she approached the far wall. "The readings are strongest here." John ran his hand along the smooth metal wall and stopped suddenly when his fingers found a small indentation. "There's something." As his fingers traced the strange symbol carved into the wall, it began to glow with a soft blue light. The three of them stepped back. "What did you do?" Linda whispered. "Nothing," John said. "I just touched it." The glow spread, forming a pattern of intricate symbols across the wall. Karen's scanner went wild, then died completely. "It's some kind of beacon," Karen said, her voice shaking slightly. "You activated it." Linda backed toward the door. "We need to report this." John nodded, but his eyes remained fixed on the glowing wall. "Yes, but first." He pulled out a sample collection kit. "We need to gather whatever data we can." As they collected samples and took photographs, none of them noticed the small camera hidden in the ceiling corner, its lens focusing on their activities. Miles away, in the landed alien ship that Jake had seen, a silent alarm began to pulse. The humans had found one of the monitoring stations, and worse, they had activated the emergency beacon that would alert the entire Galactic Council to a security breach. Alarms blared through the Galactic Council chamber. The peaceful meeting erupted into chaos as red lights flashed across the curved ceiling. Silence. High Ambassador Valoria shouted, her voice cutting through the noise. Our security has been breached. The giant screens around the chamber changed to show the lunar outpost. The humans were clearly visible, examining the wall where the beacon had been hidden. Admiral Zorax jumped to his feet. Humans. In our monitoring station. His gray face darkened with anger. They've activated an emergency beacon. Impossible, Elder Moshe said, his blue skin paling. That facility was completely hidden. No human technology should have been able to detect it. Yet there they are, said the Proxima Coalition representative. This is exactly what we feared. Humans are advancing too quickly. They found our outpost, and now they've triggered an alert that broadcasts our meeting location across half the galaxy. Ambassador Lin floated nervously above her seat. The question is, how did they find it? Someone must have helped them. Suspicious glances shot around the chamber. The idea of a traitor among them was unthinkable, yet the evidence was before their eyes. Valoria raised her hands. We must not turn against each other. That serves no one. She turned to face Admiral Zorax. However, this development is concerning. The humans were never supposed to discover our presence for at least another 3 centuries. This changes everything, Zorax said. I demand immediate action. The Regelian Empire moves that we implement sterilization protocols. Gasps filled the chamber. Sterilization protocols were the Council's most extreme measure, a complete neutralization of a planet's defensive capabilities, leaving them helpless. Ambassador Lin bobbed in distress. We cannot attack a developing world. It violates our most sacred laws. They are no longer just a developing world, Zorax argued. They have found our technology. They have activated our beacon. Who knows what else they have discovered? The Proxima representative stepped forward. I second the motion for containment action. Not full sterilization, but a targeted strike to remove their most advanced weapons and research facilities. Valoria looked troubled. Before we vote on such a serious matter, I must share something with the Council. She touched a control on her wrist, and new images appeared on the screens. These are recordings from various human research facilities over the past 50 Earth years. As you can see, they have been making remarkable leaps in technology. But look closer. The images zoomed in to show strange artifacts being studied in human labs. Pieces of metal with familiar designs. Those are Regelian components, someone gasped. And Arcturian power cells, added another voice. Exactly, Valoria said. Humanity has been finding our technology for decades. Crashed scout ships, lost equipment, even garbage we left behind. They have been reverse engineering it, which explains their rapid advancement. Admiral Zorax looked stunned. Why were we not informed of this? The monitoring team thought it insignificant at first, Elder Moshe admitted. By the time they realized what was happening, humans had already incorporated the technology. We were embarrassed by our carelessness. Zorax slammed his fist down. This negligence has put us all at risk. I will not wait for a council vote. The Regelian fleet will move into their system immediately. You cannot, Valoria said. This must be decided by all of us. But Zorax was already leaving, speaking rapidly into a communication device on his wrist. On a smaller screen, ignored during the argument, the humans at the lunar outpost were carefully collecting samples of alien material. We must vote now, Valoria said urgently. Do we attempt peaceful contact, or do we support the Regelian containment action? She looked around the chamber, and we must decide quickly, because I fear the humans may be more prepared than we realize. General Carter stood before a wall of screens in the underground command center. Each screen showed different information: satellite images, data streams, and video feeds from the lunar mission. He watched as Dr. Daniels, and Major Russell returned to the lunar observatory with their samples. "Sir, we have something," said Heather Mason, who had been working non-stop with Alan Wright on decoding more of the alien transmissions. "We finished breaking through the last encryption layer." Carter turned to face them. "What did you find?" Alan connected his tablet to the main screen. The complete message. "It's troubling." The screen filled with strange symbols that slowly changed to English text. Everyone in the room fell silent as they read the translated message. Details of the Galactic Council's emergency meeting about Earth, the debate over how to handle humanity's rapid advancement, and most concerning, Admiral Zorax's call for sterilization protocols. "They're coming," Heather said quietly. "The Regellian ships. According to this, they've already entered the outer solar system." Carter's face remained calm, but his eyes hardened. "Then it's time for Operation First Light." He pressed a button on his console. "Get me Captain Bennett." A new screen lit up, showing a man in his 40s with a determined expression. He wore a uniform unlike any in the regular military. "Captain Steve Bennett reporting." "Sir." "Captain, the situation has escalated. Deploy the fleet and activate the quantum jammers." Bennett nodded. "Yes, sir." "How much do they know?" "Enough to be dangerous," Carter replied, "but not enough to realize what they're walking into." Bennett saluted, and the screen went dark. Carter turned to the room full of scientists and military personnel. 25 years ago, we found a crashed alien scout ship in the Arctic. We've been reverse engineering its technology ever since. 10 years ago, we started building our own ships based on what we learned." Murmurs spread through the room. Most people there had only known about the small piece of alien tech Carter had shown Heather and Alan earlier. Few knew about an entire ship or a secret fleet. "We always suspected we weren't alone," Carter continued. "We prepared in secret, building ships and weapons that could match alien technology. It was a precaution we hoped never to need." He looked around the room. "Today, that preparation will save Earth." Across the planet, hidden facilities sprang to life. In the depths of the Pacific Ocean, massive doors opened on the seafloor, releasing sleek vessels that rose toward the surface. In remote mountain ranges, hillsides slid apart to reveal launching pads. From the frozen Antarctic, metal structures emerged from beneath the ice. Captain Bennett stood on the bridge of the lead ship, the Defiant Asterisk. Unlike the bulky spacecraft the public knew about, this vessel was elegant and powerful. Its hull gleamed with a dark metal that absorbed light, making it difficult to see clearly, similar to the alien ship Jake had spotted at the lunar outpost. "All systems online," reported his second-in-command, Lieutenant Grace Howard. "Quantum drives functioning at optimal levels." "Deploy the jammers," Bennett ordered. Around Earth and throughout the solar system, small devices activated, creating a net of quantum disruption that would prevent most alien communications and sensors from working properly. Back at the command center, Carter received confirmation that the fleet was ready. On the screens above him, 12 ships rose into Earth orbit, finally visible to the world below. News stations around the globe broke into regular broadcasts with confused reports about the strange vessels. "It's time to make the announcement," Carter said. "The world needs to know." As he prepared to address humanity about the existence of aliens and the approaching threat, another alert sounded. A new message was coming in from the lunar outpost. Dr. Daniels and Major Russell had made another discovery, one that changed everything they thought they knew about the aliens. "Sir," said the communications officer, her voice shaking slightly, "you need to see this." Carter turned to the screen showing Dr. Daniels. Her face was pale but excited. "General," she said, "we found something in their database. Earth wasn't randomly chosen for observation. According to these records, humans are." The transmission crackled with interference just as Regellian warships appeared at the edge of the solar system. 5 massive Regellian warships appeared near Jupiter's orbit. Each was the size of a small city, with weapons that could destroy an entire continent. Admiral Zorax stood on the command deck of the lead ship, watching the holographic display of Earth's solar system. Scanners detect 12 human vessels moving to intercept, reported his second-in-command. Primitive designs. No match for our fleet. Zorax nodded. As expected. They may have found some of our technology, but they can't possibly understand how to use it properly. He raised his voice. All ships, prepare tow. Admiral. The sensor officer interrupted. Something is wrong. Our long-range scanners are being blocked. I can't get clear readings on the human ships. Zorax frowned. Impossible. Their technology isn't advanced enough for quantum jamming. On Earth, in the underground command center, General Carter watched the approaching Regellian fleet with grim determination. Captain Bennett, you are clear to engage, he ordered. Show them what humanity can do. The 12 Earth ships accelerated toward the Regellian fleet. To any observer, it looked like a suicide mission. Tiny vessels charging toward massive warships. But Captain Bennett smiled as he gave his orders. Activate phase shields. Power up the arc weapons. His crew worked with practiced efficiency. Let's show our visitors that humans are full of surprises. The Defiant Asterisk led the human fleet toward the Regellian ships. When they came within range of the alien weapons, something remarkable happened. The human vessels seemed to flicker and shift, becoming hard to target. When the Regellians fired their main weapons, the energy beams passed through the human ships without effect. How is this possible? Zorax shouted as the battle reports came in. Their shields are using phase shift technology. That's restricted council knowledge. In the council chamber, the huge screens showed the confrontation unfolding. The representatives watched in shock as the human vessels not only survived the Regellian attack, but began to counterattack with weapons that matched their own advanced technology. This cannot be, the Proxima representative said. They are using council-level technology. Who gave it to them? High Ambassador Valoria's expression was unreadable as she watched the battle. Elder Moshe moved to stand beside her. It is time to tell them the truth, he said quietly. Valoria nodded and stepped forward. Members of the council, there is something you must know about humans. All eyes turned to her. They are not just another developing species. They are our children. Gasps filled the chamber. 3,000 years ago, the Arcturian Confederation faced extinction from a terrible disease. We sent ships with our genetic material to compatible worlds, hoping to preserve our kind. Earth was one such world. She touched a control, and new images appeared. Ancient human DNA alongside Arcturian patterns. The similarities were obvious. We combined our genetics with early humans. The experiment created beings with great potential, the capacity for rapid advancement, incredible adaptability, and creative thinking beyond even our own abilities. In space, the battle continued. The human ships darted around the larger Regellian vessels, firing weapons that slowly weakened the alien shields. The Defiant Asterisk took a direct hit but remained intact. Shields at 60%, Lieutenant Howard reported to Captain Bennett. We can take a few more hits like that. Bennett nodded. Target their main power conduits. Let's show them we know exactly where to hit. The Defiant Asterisk fired a precise beam at a seemingly protected part of the Regellian flagship. The energy weapon struck with surgical precision, and systems across the alien ship began to fail. Admiral Zorax stared in disbelief. They know our designs, our weaknesses. He turned to his communications officer. Contact the council. We need reinforcements. But the officer shook his head. Sir, I'm receiving a new transmission from the humans. They're broadcasting on all council frequencies. They want to talk. On the main screen, Captain Steve Bennett's face appeared. He looked calm and confident. Admiral Zorax, this is Captain Bennett of Earth. Perhaps it's time we had a proper conversation about our place in the galaxy. Admiral Zorax stared at the human captain on his screen. The battle had paused, with both fleets holding position near Jupiter. Zorax had never expected to negotiate with humans. His plan had been simple: neutralize Earth's defenses, and place them under Council control. What could we possibly have to discuss? Zorax asked. Captain Bennett's expression remained steady. For starters, why the Galactic Council has been watching Earth for centuries without introducing themselves, and perhaps why you felt the need to attack us rather than talk first. Before Zorax could respond, a new signal broke into their communication. High Ambassador Valoria's face appeared on a split screen. Captain Bennett, she said, this is High Ambassador Valoria of the Arcturian Confederation and a Galactic Council. We request a proper meeting. Bennett nodded. I have a better idea. Why don't you come to Earth? Not as judges deciding our fate, but as guests meeting new allies. In the council chamber, debate erupted over this bold invitation. Many representatives were shocked by the idea of traveling to Earth after what they had just witnessed. The human ships had fought the Regellian fleet to a standstill, a feat no developing world had ever accomplished. This is unprecedented, the Proxima representative argued. We cannot simply visit a world that has not completed the standard development cycle. Perhaps it is time to reconsider our approach, Ambassador Lin suggested. Humans have clearly advanced beyond our projections. Valoria raised her hand for silence. The facts are clear. Humans are partly our descendants. They have discovered our technology and learned to use it effectively. They detected our monitoring stations and prepared defenses without our knowledge. The old rules no longer apply. On Earth, in the command center, General Carter watched these exchanges with Dr. Daniels and Major Russell, who had been rushed back from the moon. The data they had discovered confirmed what Valoria was now explaining to the Council. So we're part alien, Carter said, shaking his head in wonder. That explains a lot about our rapid advancement. Not just any aliens, Dr. Daniels added. According to these records, the Arcturians are among the oldest and most advanced species in the galaxy. We inherited their capacity for innovation and adaptation, but developed it in unique ways they never expected. 3 days later, a single Arcturian ship entered Earth orbit. Unlike the aggressive Regellian warships, this vessel was elegant and peaceful in design. After careful preparation, High Ambassador Valoria and representatives from 7 council races landed at a specially prepared site in Geneva, Switzerland. World leaders gathered to meet the alien delegation. Captain Bennett and his crew stood alongside General Carter as honored heroes. The arrival was broadcast to every corner of Earth, forever changing humanity's understanding of their place in the universe. Valoria stepped forward to address the assembled humans. People of Earth, for too long we have watched from the shadows. Today we come in the open, not as judges or rulers, but as relatives long separated. She explained the history that connected humans to the stars, how the Arcturians had combined their genetics with early humans, creating a hybrid species with remarkable potential, how the Council had established rules about non-interference with developing worlds, but some had always watched Earth with special interest. Your achievements have surprised even those who created you, she admitted. You have taken our basic technology and improved it in ways we never imagined. Your creativity exceeds our own. After the formal meetings, Captain Bennett found himself speaking privately with Valoria and Admiral Zorax, who had reluctantly joined the delegation. You realize this changes the balance of power in the galaxy, Zorax said, still unhappy with the situation. Bennett smiled. Perhaps that's not a bad thing. The Council has been doing things the same way for thousands of years. Maybe it's time for some fresh ideas. Valoria nodded thoughtfully. Indeed, the secret assembly of the Galactic Council has been compromised, but in its place, a new alliance may form, one where humans take their rightful place among the stars.